Hey everybody, Ben here. Thanks for clicking on the video. Thanks for showing up for yourself each and every day. I will connect here. We'll see what comes through. If it resonates, feel free to like or comment. If it doesn't, don't make it fit. These bells may be a little loud. So we'll see what I get here. So like a blue orb in a black space, and then it it exploded. Almost looked like a firework, but it was all white. All the little traces. But then uh, a blue orb still was there, and it dropped down to earth. So this is clearly someone uh, coming down here to experience this way of life. Going into, like, I'm kind of having like a flash through the life of a very trying experience, going through a lot of hardship, addictions, homelessness kind of things, a lot of struggle, but keep showing up. This individual keeps pushing forward, and uh, it's hard, but it's almost coming out like if only you knew. And when we really think about it, when we come here, the veil is placed on us. We don't know. We don't know where we came from, who we are. We don't know that we've done this multiple times, maybe. We don't know our powers. We are here, and everything around us is what tells us what our experience is. And to go through, what I saw, a lot of hardship in a lot of different ways is very difficult, of course, especially difficult to keep showing up, to having that ounce of hope, and to keep pushing forward. The idea of judgment, and not in a normal sense, but being judged by others for your walk or your path is coming through. Maybe you feel judged. And obviously, uh, people in general do judge, that's how things go. But if we think everyone's judging us, we're judging ourselves still. We are allowing our past experiences or what we went through to define us, which to an extent they made us, but we transition, we evolve, we grow. And that's I mean, I can see it in a lot of different ways. Like, I see a lot of homeless people, and sure, we might be addicted to drugs for a bit or having a rough go about it, or maybe we're trying to get out of that situation. We're down on our luck. And a lot of people can look at that as a bum. But when you actually evolve enough and you get to a place that you can see the bigger picture and see beyond this face value, and there's actually someone in there, screaming for help and going through a difficult time. And I'm not saying that their behavior is totally a good decision, but they're doing the best thing that they know how to do in the time that they're, where they're at right now. And it sucks. Some things we can't turn off, like pain and suffering and hardship, like in our mind, and we grab things to try to make them go away. But it gets to a point that we finally choose us, and we, go forward. First card was Queen of Pentacles, practicality. We're thinking of, in a common sense of uh, everything. I was talking to someone a while ago, and they made mistakes, and they look at their life as tarnished because of a record. And I get that. A lot of people say no, but we just, that person was just giving up and saying, well, this is it. I can't get a job doing this or that or blah, blah, blah. And there's so many other ways around this. We're looking at it on a face value that this is how I'm presenting myself to the world. And yeah, there's things on paper that say things, but that doesn't mean that's the person that you are anymore. If you did that and you weren't in the right mind place, or we were young and we made mistakes, just because it's presented this way to the world, if we identify with that, then yeah, we're going to be stuck. We're going to be stagnant. We're going to be wherever we allow that to place us. But we can change that. We can try different avenues. There's a lot of different paths to work around this. Obviously, if we're coming from a malicious place in the mind, we're going to get the cards dealt that we're going to get dealt. But that's not coming off this way. You know, we have a past, and that's okay. We can leave it there, or we can allow it to define us, and I should say control us in our future. Or we can adapt, we can acknowledge it, we can heal from it, and we can move forward, and we can pave a new road that is very bountiful in a lot of different ways when we change how we're looking at things. And maybe we're carrying this judgment, which rightfully so. I get how hard it is to let go of that, when we look at what may have taken place. But we need to choose us. And when doing so, we open a lot of doors for ourselves. I'm hearing I just want a normal life like everybody else has. And we can have that. The world reversed, unfinished. We can have that when we close the cycle of allowing this to define us. I know in a lot of other messages I go into identifying ourselves. And in this world, everything is categorized. It needs to be categorized so someone can place ownership on things, so they can organize it, so they can feel like they have control over things. And it bleeds into everything. Uh, you know, Romantic relationships, personal relationships, friendships, family units, and society as a whole. As simple as choosing a sports team or politics. Health, we're going to identify with diseases and more tragical situations. Mental health, we need to categorize it and say that you are in this bubble. Same thing with if we did have a record, we are categorized in that as this type of person. Same thing with races, genders, everything has to be categorized. When we allow these categories to dictate what bubble or what we're allowed to experience or the person that we are, it is identifying us. We need to change that. And I think it's going back to this judgment. Maybe there's a heavy self-judgment on us. And when we have that inside, our external is going to reinforce that. It's going to validate that feeling. So I'm just going to go back to that idea of the record. Let's say everywhere I go, they say they can't hire me because of this record that I have. Well, that's how I feel inside. I already feel that this is holding me back, and I'm placing the blame on myself and this record. And every time I go to say get a job and they tell me, oh, you're a great person, but I can't do this because of this record. Well, it's just reinforcing your belief of yourself. There's other ways around this. And I'm not saying in a legal way, there's just other ways to go about this. But since we feel that inside, we can say the external is proving it to us, but it's really inside. And we're projecting it outward. This is how I feel about myself. So I'm going to be reassured or validated when I go into the public and they're going to tell me how I feel about myself. That, yep, I can't do this. And when we close that cycle, we can get through this. And we can find other ways to have a normal life just like everybody else wants. But we have to choose us. Nine of Swords, mental strife. This is probably all we think about, and it's driving us nuts. How can I do this? Or how can I let go of this? How can I choose myself? How can I navigate this? And I get that. Any problem we have, I'm guilty as well. If it's a big enough problem that it's affecting my life and holding me back from my goals or where I want to be, it's all I dwell on. We can't really turn that off. And until we get to a place to say, okay, I'm going to remove this for a minute. I'm going to stop allowing it to control my life, my experiences for this moment, and really let go of it for however long it may take. The answers do come to us then, and we see a different way through. Or we heal it, and then the doors open up on their own. Knight of Pentacles reversed. Procrastination. A lot of things in life, we procrastinate because we don't want to do them. And we can not, this isn't to come off as pointing fingers, but if we look at the population as a whole, we stay in places that make us feel safe or comfortable, I should say, out of fear, which does keep us small. It keeps us in categories. It keeps us where it's too much work to better myself or to go after my goals because I have that fear. What if I fail? Or on a healing experience, wow, I have to go in there and look at my emotions. I don't want to do that. It's easier just to cover them up. It's easier not to deal with them and just keep going on with the way things are. And I get that. I procrastinate with certain things. It's like, well, I have to do it regardless. I can't, might as well just get it over with. But if we go in with the mindset of this is going to be horrible, of course it's going to be horrible. We don't really know what's going to happen until we try. And we can look at it every day and say, yeah, I should really do this, but I don't. And that is indirectly a bit of self-sabotage. So we want something, but I don't want to use the word lazy. It's why deal with it, Queen of Cups. Self-sacrifice. Oh, I get the word sacrifice and sabotage mixed up sometimes in messages. And we are doing more damage than good, but it's comfortable. So why would we change? This goes a lot into like knowing that this type of food is really bad for me, but I like it. And I know I'm, really, really overweight, but I just keep eating it because it feels good. Same thing with drinking or drugs or smoking or vaping, whatever it may be. You know, we keep doing it. Same thing with like social media. Like I know when I get on here and I start looking at, excuse me, all these people that look happy, it makes me feel really bad about myself. But I keep doing it. It is self-destructive patterns, and it is what we feel inside, and we're just doing things to reinforce that, to validate how bad we may feel about ourselves or see ourselves. We are drawn to these things that are going to validate that, whether it's good or positive. And if we're really feeling negative in here, we're going to do a lot of things that make us feel more negative. It is the nature of the mirror. And when we start to see things like that, the mirror, when we really walk through life and see how our external is, uh, everything in this external is making us feel a certain way, we need to start looking in here then and say, well, I don't want to feel that way anymore. And then we start changing it in here, and then the external follows. Otherwise, we'll continue to feel shitty about ourselves or have a shitty life or a shitty experience because that's how we feel in here. And it's reflecting in the external. It's not the external to the internal. It's our internal. One last closing card here, Spirit. Knight of Wands. Fleeting interests. This is non-committal. This is back and forth. Oh, I'll do it. No, I won't. Okay, maybe tomorrow. Keep passing it off. We'll never be ready because it takes courage. And until we just do the damn thing, it will still be in the same place of going in circles. We're not going to take action because we're never going to be comfortable enough. We're never going to be in the right place to do so. We're waiting. We'll constantly say, when this takes place, I'll feel ready, or I'll be safe to do X, Y, or Z. There is never a time that we're actually going to do it. We are, there's always going to be an excuse. There's always going to be a time that we're not feeling ready enough because we're afraid. And I get that. Whatever it may be that we're grasping onto brings a level of comfort. And until we let go of that and adventurously walk into this unknown, but knowing that I'm doing this for me, I'm picking me, and I know on the other side, something amazing is going to take place, and I'm going to be in this great place just with me. Uh, that is the propelling force. That's all we got. Otherwise, we'll stay in the circle and keep going around and around out of fear. But I'm going to leave this here. If this resonated, feel free to like, comment, share, or subscribe, and I will talk to you all later.